Greetings for my second live stream of the day. For those of you who caught my first one, I accidentally hit go, called it premature exumulation. I'm sorry about that. It happens. So welcome. It's Epic Cash Live, our favorite time of the week. It is Friday, December 17th, 2021. And first of all, as the title of the show, welcome new members. Why? Because we're seeing 5 to 10% new members per week, both in with acquiring Vite wallets and in our communities. And it's just really amazing to see. So welcome all of you, one and all, who are just getting started with the party. And I hope you find our community very welcoming. And just kind of a quick information here that to begin, I want to let everyone know, I hope you visit t.me/Epic Cash ANN. That's ANN. That's short for announcements. It is a new initiative that we've started this week to where we will be sending out periodic announcements that look a lot like press releases, if you will, and have gotten a ton of positive feedback on the 2 announcements that we did this week. So if you're interested in those, please do visit that. And of course, always join t.me/Epic Cash. That is our primary community. Okay, well, we have today with us Max Freeman, of course, founder of Epic Cash. And we have Yoga Dude, who is joining us by audio. And then on Enrique. El McMurphy, thank you for being another face that I can speak to. and as we always do at the beginning of the week, we are going to do a screen share and just show you. I'm just going to show it right there and pass it on over to you, Enrique.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
What we're looking at here is a comparison of Epic Cash versus the top 15 cryptocurrencies. This was a thought experiment that I began on September 3rd of this year, in which I said, what would happen if I invested $1,000 into Epic versus if I invested $1,000 into each of the top 15 cryptocurrencies by market cap ranking on that date. So when we look at Epic, we'll start with that one. It was trading at 32 cents. And today, I take a snapshot every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's our basis for comparing. So today it was trading at $5.24. That means that our $1,000 invested into Epic would today be worth $16,375, or that's equal to a 1,537% increase. That's pretty impressive because with $1,000 you could have bought 3,125 coins on September 3rd. And if the math is correct, today with $1,000, you would only be able to buy 190 coins.
Wow.
So, it's grown quite, it's substantially. And if we compare the rest of the coins, you can see that Luna has performed well. From $32, it's gone up to $64. That's a 95% increase. Matic has also done a 44% increase, and you can see the rest of the coins that they haven't done so well. With the exception of Solana, that's up 24%. But in the case of BTC, it's actually in the negative. It was trading at $49,000, and it's right now trading at just over $46,000. So another interesting fact about this comparison is that even if you would have taken the $1,000 and distributed them amongst the top 15 coins, like, evenly amongst all of them, like diversifying, you have the average, which is the last row that you'll see. So the $1,000 invested into the diversified into the top 15 coins, your portfolio would be worth $865 today. So you'd be down about 13% versus the 1,500% upside that you would have seen with Epic. And
All right. Let me take you to this one. Why don't you walk us through with that?
Yeah, that's a simpler representation of what I just said. The red line represents the top 15 average portfolio, and the green line represents Epic Cash. So as you can see, the y-axis has the portfolio value in US dollars, and the x-axis has the dates. And well, it's a flat line versus a nice green uptrend.
Excellent. And I'm going to go to the next one here that you sent me, which is this. You want to walk us through this?
Yes, sure. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, we started looking at the TCV portfolio and did that same comparison with Epic Cash. So like we just went over, Epic Cash, you'd be up 1,500% had you invested $1,000 on September 3rd. And with the TCV portfolio, you have their main holdings, Monero, BTC, R, and you can see how they've all performed. For example, Monero, which is their second biggest holding next to BTC, would be down about 39%. R is down 58%. Monero is down 70%. BTC is down 6%. BCH 35%, and BSV 30%. And you can see in the bottom the TCV portfolio total. That would be how $1,000 invested into their portfolio today would be worth $725. So you'd be down 27%. And
what do we have in the purple here?
Yeah, in the purple we have, we're looking at it in BTC terms. So if you invested into Epic, compared to BTC, you would be up 1,662% versus the TCV portfolio in BTC terms is down 22%. So
it's amazing.
It's quite a difference. And in the next table I want to show you, which is the one that says Epic Cash, improved TCV portfolio. That's the name of it.
Okay, let me stop sharing that.
Yeah.
Get out of this, and then we're gonna just real quickly go to the next. Boom. All right.
Yeah. So what I did on this one is just a little thought experiment showing what would happen. I think your screen cut off the image.
Okay, hold on. Let me get it back here. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just quickly explain what it is. On this one, what I did was I would take 8% off of XMR and 2% of AVAR from their original portfolio and put that 10% into Epic to show the huge difference that Epic would have made over the last 3+ months. So had they put just 10% of their portfolio into Epic, instead of being down like we saw in the last table, they would be up 130% in US dollar terms. And in BTC terms, that would be 148%.
Wow.
Yeah, so a little Epic would have made a huge difference for their portfolio.
I think even forgetting TCV, anyone watching this, I think the message I hope you receive is a little Epic can go a long way. In any portfolio.
Right. And one thing, sorry to jump in a little bit, but one of the things I absolutely love about Enrique's comparisons is that they're absolutely free of ideology. Okay. This is not about disagreements on which crypto has better dog picture or if Elon Musk likes it or not. I mean, this is simply about presenting things that are near and dear to everyone's heart, which is profit. Mm-hmm. This is about just raw performance. This is not about, which coin is best, which coin, and nobody's being knocked here. These are just cold facts, cold numbers, that are very transparent and very obvious. So thank you, Enrique.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're exactly right. Like, there's no philosophical argument that I'm throwing out here. It's just statistics. It's just data and results that have been, obtained by all these coins. And just a couple more that I'd like to look at are the era ones. This is an interesting chart because it shows the first and second halvings that Epic Cash has had. And what we're looking at is a logarithmic scale of the, oh no, go to the one to the other one. First, we'll look at the US dollar one.
Okay. Bear with me. Let me, hold on.
Yeah.
I lost my mouse. Am I screen sharing now or no?
No.
Okay. All right. Is that the
All
one?
right. Yeah, that's the one. So what we have there is a log scale of the US dollar price of Epic Cash, taking into account the three era, the first and second era that have passed, and we're currently in era 3. And you'll see that each line represents the date of the halving. So in era 1, which was from September 2, 2019, when the coin was launched, up to June 20, 2020, which was when the first halving occurred, you could see that there were 23,040 epic created every day. And the price of one epic at that time was 4 cents. And now if we look at era 2, which was from June 20 to October 30 of this year, which was when the second halving occurred, there were 11,520 new epic created every day. So during the first and second halving, we see that the price of epic in US dollars went from 4 cents all the way up to $3.24. That's the same as doing an 81x. And so that's a pretty impressive growth,
That's over, that 81x is over 2 years, right? Or a year and a half.
No, it's just under 2 years. It's from June 20 of 2020 to October 30 of this year. So it's less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years, 80x.
Yeah. So it was pretty impressive, an 81x. And now we just entered era 3. The second halving was just over a month ago. And as you can see, we'll see where how high we are by the time era 3 ends, which is when the third halving will come. Can I just expected in June of 2023. Yeah.
Can I just insert here? I just did some quick math that if you just held firm to kind of the design of Epic Cash, it's designed to go up. In this case, it went up in era 2 80x. If you did the same 80x in era 3, that would take us to $259, $260. I think there would be a lot of people who in less than what the next halving is, a year and a half from now?
It's almost. It's in June of 2023. But what we have to consider here also is that all of this has been done with $0 spent on marketing and with with a lot less resources and capabilities that we have now. So it's an 81x would underperform, in my opinion, in era 3.
I agree 100%. No, that's but even if you wanted to be conservative and say 81x, that would I think if we got to that, would that almost flip an XMR's market cap?
Yeah, I think it would. I don't have the math
okay
right now, but let's just quickly look at the BTC one, the one that you showed previously.
Yeah, let me back this one out and then I'll pull the other one up. Come on, baby. There it is. Okay. T-3 seconds. Screen share.
All right.
There you go, sir.
Okay, so this is same graph as before, except that we're looking at the Epic BTC price. So that's the pair that we're comparing. And you can see that in in the first halving, the price of one epic was 472 sats. And at the second halving, the price was 5,250 sats. So that's an 11x in BTC terms. And we also have to keep in mind that even though 11x doesn't sound as impressive as 81, which was in the dollar terms, but during era 2, BTC increased about 560% versus the US dollar. So
Right.
we still did an 11x over BTC during that time.
Sorry to interject here, but just to frame it slightly differently, imagine, I think when we did the surprise gang rape attempted snuff film from the Maxi guys, BTC was trading at about 50K. You know, imagine if one BTC was now $500,000. And that's the same type of scale that we're talking about here. So it's just incomprehensible. I mean, there's truly nothing like it in terms of compounding power due to that true scarcity, because Epic can't be double spent and fractionally reserved and all these rehypothecation and all these banker games that dilute the effective scarcity profile that have accumulated like barnacles on the boat for a dozen years. We're super pure, and hopefully we'll keep it that way as long as possible.
And shout out to live stream yesterday with Todd Lewis and Mr. P. I would encourage anyone to go watch that and just kind of get what you just said, Max. They kind of unpack that, you know, in tech talk. So and they're both very good at being able to speak at a level that, you know, even that most people who are even newbies could understand. So, all right, Enrique. So now take us over here. I mean, it just seems like these halving things, and let's just talk newbie speak, but every time there's a halving and you go from being able to mine 11,520 coins a day, that's cut in half. So let's say same amount of miners are growing miner base. They are competing for a smaller amount of coins, and that just creates scarcity. And so the design, the beautiful design of Epic Cash is it is designed to just go up, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if we're very different than Bitcoin, but we use you know, a similar monetary policy. And if we look at what's happened to the Bitcoin price after each halving, for example, after the first halving, if we look at the price of Bitcoin and compare it to the peak, to the highest price during that cycle, you know, it increased about over 9,000%. It went from $12.22 to over $1,000. And then after the second halving, the same thing happened. It went up almost 3,000%. So, and in the third halving, you know, a similar thing happened. It was trading at just under 9,000 bucks.
Let's look at it.
Yeah. So after the first halving that you have right there, hold on. The price was at $12, and it went up to the peak at about $1,100. From there, where you're pointing, 12. And then it went all the way up to about 1,100 bucks. And then at the start of the next halving, it was $650, went up to almost $20,000. And then I think this one's outdated, but the price at the next halving, I think it was just under $9,000. And it went up to its peak so far at $67,000. And that is post-halving. You know, after that rally that usually comes after each halving, you have a bear phase, then an accumulation phase. But you know, it's clear that after the halvings, there's usually lots of price movement, at least for a year.
So when you look at this and you think that our design is based upon the original Bitcoin protocol, and BTC is not Bitcoin, we've covered that many times. It's entirely compromised, but ours holds to the true initial vision. And when you add in our additional use cases, it is not crazy at all to be thinking in terms of thousands of dollars. You just start looking at this with Bitcoin over, a decade, right? But so it's just, I know that people can't wrap their mind around that, thinking, my gosh, it's $5. And I keep saying people are going to be bragging about acquiring Epic Cash under $10, under $20, $100, et cetera. But you just look at it here and it's just design of the project, and add in the fact that Epic Cash can be used with currency. Watch the video yesterday with Todd Lewis. And then that it happens to be private, which I think we all deserve us some privacy. I like having a door on my bathroom. Sorry. So we're not crazy.
No, not at all. And of course, there's a different set of circumstances between the Bitcoin halvings and our halvings. But in my opinion, that favors us because buying crypto is more accessible now. There's more education on the subject. So, more people want to learn about it and invest in it. So we have a far greater advantage than what Bitcoin had back then, So I think that our price appreciation in terms of percentage to the US dollar will be substantially higher. It won't be similar.
And there's some other forces at work too, because the number of crypto holders globally is over 300 million now. If you go back to the early parts of that chart, I believe Wolfie lined up his experience. He was mining BTC in 2011, and he had a certain number of graphic cards, and they were yielding a certain amount. And he said, "Hey, this is uncanny. We're lining right up." So back in 2011, there might have been under 10 million, 3 million, maybe 1 million, something like that, people holding. It was new, exotic. You had to wire transfer money to who knows where, Mt. Gox in Japan. Whereas now there's literally thousands and thousands of infrastructure providers. And things move faster in crypto. A quarter is like a month is like a quarter is like a year, or a day feels like a week. Mike Puccinelli, Uncle, your own experience. Can you imagine this whirlwind has only been 6 months for you? Project that out over time. And so the first 19 years of BTC, looking back from the singularity in summer 2028, the first 19 years of BTC are compressed into only 9 years in Epic, and that's abrupt and fast, but it's also gentle as far as the thought that Todd, and he was mainly the primary one behind the emission curve and making it line up so sweetly with 16 to 8, and now we're into 4, and then we go to 2. So the old saying, everyone gets the price they deserve, comes down to foresight and clear thinking in a lot of ways. Because if you don't think $100 is possible, then when you triple your money, you're going to move on to the next pretty flower. And so over the course of the 2 years, I can't tell you how many people come back and they're like, "Hey, after months of trading, I finally recovered 10% of the amount of Epic I sold to go into dog coin number 4,000. I know a guy here who I've been paying in Epic for his services for quite some time to get him in the boat. And he's telling me all his conquests about Cardano and how he made this much on this coin and whatever. Hey, how's it going, brother? Oh man, I have 25 grand trapped in Binance US. Oh, how did that happen? Well, they don't allow withdrawals, but I'm sure it'll open up soon. How long have you been waiting? Okay, so the casino let him pick up those nickels until it was worth it to deprive him of his hard-earned gains. And eventually he'll come to the realization, as we all do, that it pays to be monogamous here.
That life lesson that you just provided, I just would like people to think about that. Anybody who's playing footsie with, knowing that there's a snapshot on the 25th of December where you're going to get matching ECR and ECK based upon the amount of Epic Cash you hold. I really, really encourage you to not think that, cool, I got my free stuff. Now let me sell my Epic, take some profits. Because right on the heels of that, likely in January, you're going to have the Bitmart listing. And we just showed you the charts there. The design, it is designed to go up. So I'm just saying, if you want to be that guy, I think there's going to be a lot of happy people who would like to buy those coins from you at this discounted price, discounted based upon where it's going to be in the future. So Yoga, we have you on board. Thank you. I know that you are new into your new home and you're still waiting for your setup. So you're calling in, but thank you for being here. And I know you'd like to talk about V3 and just kind of give some folks some inside context on all of the good things that are happening there. Take it away.
All right, Uncle, thank you for that friendly prep. And yeah, sorry about the hollow sound. This is what a empty, unfurnished room sounds like. I'm not broadcasting out of a bathroom, I promise. Yeah, so just to touch off briefly on the V3 status, I just want to make sure that folks understand kind of the bigger picture and the reasoning behind what we're doing and why we're doing it. I mean, while V3 itself is functional, and we have successfully been running it on testnets for a while, what we're actually working on is essentially better documentation and much user-friendlier API connectivity. When we started, I mean, we ran Epic as a volunteer project. It's been a volunteer-driven project, and over the years, we're matured and we're interactively engaging with businesses and exchanges and third-party developers. We're constantly encouraging, more third-party developers to engage with us. For example, to create new mining pools, to create new wallets, to create other new innovative ways to use Epic Cash, perhaps a Epic marketplace, for example, things like that. Something that would allow people to easier integrate our functionality into their working businesses. The documentation and the framework user friendliness have to be of a higher caliber. Again, we started off as a volunteer project. We've been good, we've been solid, but now we're taking it to the next level. And when we're integrating with bigger exchanges, they have certain requirements, and they're not necessarily familiar with Mimblewimble, for example.
Right.
They're developers, and with all the hacks that have been happening with a lot of the exchanges, everybody's very concerned about security procedures, security protocols, and things like that. So just pointing the guys, in smaller, in our younger years, just pointing those guys to our GitHub and saying, well, guys, figure it out. And if you're running into problems, we'll hold your hand through it. Now it's more formal, it's more, procedurally intense process, integrating with bigger entities than ourselves. So this is what we're working on right now. This is what the team was working on. We have folks that are working on better annotated documentation. For example, if somebody, before they integrate us, they want to run a testnet environment without connecting actual Epic, so we're setting up kind of a quick spin up test environments for these businesses that we want to work with. Again, with better documentation than just what we have up there so far. Again, it's served us well up to this point, but where we are today, we're looking at 70 million plus market cap. It's definitely very different than when we're a $50,000 market cap. And people expect more professional approach from us. So the dev team is working very, very hard on delivering just that, to deliver that professional level, that ease of integration, and that level of reliability. And these things do take time. And I understand the frustration for folks, who are not programmers. Like, well, guys, come on, whip it out, and give me the easy button and let's go. But Todd Lewis talked about it. A lot of the other developer guys on our team, talked about it in our groups on Telegram, explaining the process, and that code is difficult. Code is, is tough to do it right. And we hold ourselves to a pretty high standard, and we respect we respect our community, and Islo, Max mentioned Islo's opinion on this, and which echoes a lot of the other folks' opinion, is, look, if we can reduce the chances of any kind of errors, any kind of slippages, the time delay is worth it, to make sure that we do the best job we possibly can do. So it's not just the testing, it's the documentation, and it's the the automation, so that the people that join the project have much easier time to actually become part of our ecosystem and help grow our ecosystem. Because look, we value our users, we value our miners, we value, and we value potential business partners, people that want to use us instead of Bitcoin, people who want to use us instead of, other cryptos, instead of Ethereum or other cryptos. And we need to be on the same level as far as connectivity, as far as ease of connectivity.
Well, I like what I heard earlier from Diego, who when his wallet being spun up is going to be dependent upon V3, and his comment that like with our tech, we are going to be setting a new standard in how we document our code. And he made this comment. He said, UX improves over time. Fundamentals cannot be changed. You cannot have compromises with your fundamentals. Think about building a skyscraper, and if you chintz out on, the base, if you're off, if that plumb line is off by a little bit, and you're trying to build a 100-story building, you're going to have issues down the line. And so it is way, way better to be kid tested, Todd Lewis approved. And if you have not seen yesterday's live stream with Mr. P and Todd Lewis, please do, because I think you'll get a kick out of it, because he self-describes himself as Eeyore. He's the one that just gives the Heisman when everyone else, we're ready, let's release it. Yeah, no.
We got to run some tests, and we got to document it. No, and and I madly respect that. By the way, not that you need a plug, but I really, since we do have this community that's constantly growing. I mean, every week we're growing by like 5 to 10%. It's amazing growth pace. I highly encourage everyone who is new to the project to take advantage of the wonderland of information that Uncle Vigilante has collected with Epic community interviews. I mean, there's just absolutely amazing collection of practical crypto knowledge and amazing stories and personal journeys from the community, stories of people using Epic Cash to get goods and services, like tangible progression towards mass adoption, to the point where Epic Cash begins to displace Bitcoin and fiat. It's all in there. It's just, and even people who've been with us for a while, I would still encourage to take a stroll through, through Uncle's videos, because I guarantee you probably missed something there, because this man has been tremendously prolific, and I'm still, to be a complete, full disclosure, I'm still playing catch up, but I haven't been disappointed yet with the content. I mean, the content is gold. And it really, if you're joining a community, we're different than a lot of the other communities. We're not the Moon and Lambo guys. Epic has a culture. Epic is a really amazing collection of individuals, and I think it's very refreshing. A lot of the cryptos out there, if you look at their videos, they're talking about white papers, or they're talking about some kind of a centralized message. What I like about your videos and your approach is you're taking, just like Epic, you're taking that grassroots approach to the next level. You're showing real people. You're showing, what does Epic mean? Because it means something different to everybody in the project. And this is what you're showing. It's like looking at a diamond from different facets. You rotate it around, and you see something different in every facet, and something that may not appeal to you on one facet will appeal to you on another. And to me, this is there's something for everyone in the Epic community, and I'm really enjoying the journey that you've created for people
Thank you.
to to become a part of it.
Well, I tell you what has made it super easy is once I started getting into this, and I will say, just if you're new, the one thing that I just ask that you please do is you go down below, two things. Just always click that little like almost triangle in the upper right of any of my shows, and that'll drop down my show description, and you will find literally every link to everywhere, to just, it's my personal collection of important links that I think can help you on ramp faster than it took me. It took me 6 months. But then I'd like you to go down. I've had several people this week do this and then report back to me after they did it. And they're like, how did you get into Epic Cash? You know, one guy asked, what's in it for you? Why are you, and he didn't use shill in a negative way, but basically, why are you shilling this coin? And I simply sent him a link to the shitcoin trial I did 6 months ago with Max. And if you stroll all the way down my videos and you see
6 months, man. I mean, it's been that long.
Pointing at a screen with a silly white wig on, the feedback that I've received is it knocked people's socks off, because they said it was so crazy to see you enroll like this judge and almost like an arrogant prick, to where once Max started doing what Max does and just speaking the gospel according to Epic and just answering every darn question just so efficiently and amazingly, within 20 minutes, I took off my wig and I went into student mode, got my notebook out, and that 45-minute shitcoin trial, that's what it was intended to be, ended up 2.5 hours. So I would really recommend that be the very first place that you start, because then you will understand that was my journey. That began my journey. So every video since has just been because this Epic Cash, it just kind of pulls you in like lovely quicksand, not dangerous quicksand, but lovely quicksand. And when you start realizing then, and this is the key point I want to make, all of the people that I have interviewed over the last 6 months, the joy that I have of speaking to community members, you are the ones that make my channel great. And that is, I loved how you put that, Yoga, is looking at a diamond and just seeing it from the different angles. And those are the people that I interview. They're just a different sparkle every time you turn it, whether it's Yoga, Becky Boo, her dad, Mr. P, Mike Mamola, Enrique, I mean, Islo, the list goes on and on and on, and it's all down there for your consumption.
Yep. And one thing that, I especially respect is that you approach this without a bias. You approached it honestly and with an open mind. And this is the difference where, what happened with the famous or infamous interview with the maxis, with the Bitcoin maxis, because they came with an agenda and there was really no fair trial or fairness or whatever. They essentially came to just talk louder than us. Right. And they concealed facts about Bitcoin. They claimed that Bitcoin was never hacked, which it was. They claimed that Bitcoin is fungible, which it's not. They claim that layers solve all the problems, which they don't, and so on and so on. But your approach, and not to slant you, you're not the most technical guy, but damn it, you're the most honest guy. And sometimes you ask uncomfortable questions. Sometimes, and to me, my background is marketing. To me, I always view that marketing is about educating people. It's not about coming up with a good sounding answer to put lipstick on a pig. But to me, marketing is translation. You're translating tech jargon into things that human beings can understand. Mm-hmm. And you serve as this catalyst. To me, it looks like the best interviewers are the ones that they provide a background. They do not dominate the painting. They ask relevant questions. They get the best out of the person that they're interviewing. They're getting that person to the next level. And I think, you're up there with like Lex Freeman, in my mind, that, you
Oh, thank you.
you ask practical questions, you ask real questions. You're basing them off of your real experience or from the real experience of your audience. And I just think your show is entertaining and it's educational, it's valuable. So I'm just glad that you're with us, man.
Thank you, man. I mean, that means the world to me. Thank you, Yoga. That's
Yep.
so. But enough about Yoga talking about me nicely.
Yeah.
Max, why don't you talk about me nicely now?
Well, as you know, I've got nothing but complaints, and we focus on the shortcomings. So if you want to do a public 360 review, let me pull up your HR file here. Well, we only have 20 minutes, so we'll have to table this for a future session. Maybe we can, I'll put on a wig and put you through a 2.5 hour shit channel trial. How about that? I love you too. So I'm spending a lot of time right now working with people that look at things through a purely financial lens.
Yes.
Shout out to Enrique, Eric, Hayek, Mike Mumola, Pooch, and Uncle, who are all involved in making the case to people who are stewards of large amounts of money why there are trillions of dollars of meat on this bone. And there's 1,000 digital asset hedge funds in existence now, and then there's other professional institutions that are coming in. And so imagine you go to ecrinvestors.com, you hear about it from a friend somewhere, somehow we come onto the radar screen of very serious people. And it looks something like this. Hey, technical expert over there in the corner that understands this stuff, would you go take a look? It looks like the market cap is going to go from 100 million to $1 billion. And if I'm right, this thing is worth adding to our portfolio. Would you take a look and then give us a quick read at the committee meeting next Tuesday? Okay, boss, got it. He comes back, man, this thing is sloppy. This is an amateur hour. These guys slapped together some things together over the course of a weekend. Looks like a 2-pizza job. Maybe there was beer involved. This thing is not built to last. Be careful. You want to sell out, the minute that you get a quick pump. Versus, oh, wow. These guys are not messing around. They're here to hunt bear. This is long ball. I think you may be conservative because, boss, you're thinking about 100 million to $1 billion. I see 1 trillion to 10 trillion. Here's why. Oh, okay. And so, looking at it from that perspective, the investments that we're making not only facilitate greater ecosystem development, greater ability for people inside our world to make money Legos, the building blocks of new and innovative services. Black Tiger has raised enough funds through Epic Fund Me to dedicate himself full time and no longer have to show up to a job to pay the bills for at least the next couple of months. And he's hinting at some amazing stuff. Epicmind.org, Team Sullivan and co are doing the same thing. And so these are strategic investments. They're seeds that are being planted that will continue to bear fruit years and years into the future.
Yeah, and Sullivan reached out to me and was looking to be able to present what he's working on, and I can't wait for that. So
yeah, that'd be great.
That's what's so cool about it, and that's what I'm appreciating too. Is that there are community members who are now reaching out directly to me saying, "Hey, here's what I'm doing. I'd love to come on your show too." And I'm like literally just. I can't pump out content fast enough, and I'm available to everyone just because this is like brings joy to me, just because I know that it's just adding so much value to those who are already, part of the team that are already holding Epic, but also those who are just Epic curious. And rightly, you just kind of want to be careful. And so these shows are for you as well. So, Enrique, why don't you tell us what your plans are? You're going to start your own YouTube channel, or perhaps?
Yes.
Yes.
It's been delayed a little bit, but yeah, it's going to be a channel in Spanish, where I basically go through all of the, concepts and all of the ideas that led me to Epic, and explain to people that speak Spanish in Latin America what Epic is, what the Epicenter ecosystem is, the role that Epic will play in it, and why I see value in it versus the rest of the cryptocurrency market, which, I'm not saying that there's not any value, but it's basically a channel that's going to be dedicated to, where I see the value in this project.
Well,
and
I'm
it's basically going to be that. Yeah, I've been, it's been on my plans to do, but I've been, haven't been able to quite get everything set up here with the sound and everything. How is it, by the way?
It's not just the sound. Did you end up deciding to go with the shirtless concept? So it's the lighting and the oil and stuff like that. I know we got a lot of requests for that. So
that kind of thing too. I have to decide, what kind of what kind of seasoning I want to put on it.
I didn't know that was on the table, Max. Can I start doing these shirtless?
Yikes, guys. Yikes. Yeah.
Yikes,
I mean,
right.
well, I can see like Enrique pulling off the Rico Suave kind of a thing.
Yeah. Uncle V stick to wearing shirts. So Enrique, I am really encouraged by that. And it also just kind of opens up another exciting aspect of the Epic ecosystem. Between you and Max, I think you could fill 5 minutes just talking to us about the translations and our strategic approach of getting the message of Epic worldwide.
Yeah, sure. Well, there's a total of 52 languages that all of the content on Epic is being translated. There's a lot of one-pagers that you can check out at epicentral.io. And, the same thing for the introduction to ECR and all of the content that's on the webpage. There's people from all, from all over that are working on translations. We have had a community member who helped out with that a lot, who has a lot of people that translate for him. And, it's been done in an organic way. It's different than going to a company and saying, all right, we need to translate this, here's, $20,000 or whatever. It's been more of a, organic effort. There's documents that need to be translated, then they need to be reviewed, edits need to be done. So, we're constantly working to, find and get people to, to support the project in that way. And it's, it's not always easy because, some people, start translating and then they kind of have, their work or other issues. So, it's not as easy as hiring a company, but it gets community members involved and people learn by translating. So that's also very valuable, because as you read the documents, you understand, maybe you don't understand the word, but you look it up and, it's an educational process.
Yeah, Max, why don't you just give us a little insight into your brain and why was this so important to you just at Jump Street?
What was what? The translation?
Wanting to be able to not just keep Epic Cash for those who can read English, but how about the rest of the world?
So Todd and I spoke a lot about this pre-launch, and he and I differ slightly. As you discovered, from an engineer's perspective, it doesn't matter who does the mining as long as it gets done, and that there's 1,440 blocks a day that spit out the certain number of coins. But as he correctly pointed out, the banking industry has no upside in serving about 1.7 billion people that are not profitable to serve. And so there's just simply no answer for them. Even in BTC with the Lightning Network, there will never be any answer. And so one of my early aha moments was, wow, what if we could get all of the dollar a day people into the boat before the big money people. And then when we go from one level to another on these orders of magnitude, from 1 cent to 10 to $1 to 10 to 100 to 1,000 and beyond. If you have $1 billion and you go to 10 billion, that doesn't really do much for you or for the world. Notorious B.I.G. Says, "Mo money, no mo problems." And so if we get just the widest possible number of people for whom $1 or $2 in daily income is what they must live on, and we find a way to enable them to not get a handout, but get a hand up, we enable them to grab that first rung on the economic ladder. And instead of going out and doing whatever they otherwise would do with their time, subsistence farming, blood diamonds, a lot of these places really have a horrible nightmare reality. And so if you're a guy in a refugee camp and you get your hands on $1 of coins and then your cell phone is pumping out even 1 cent per day, well, a $1,200 stimulus that went through people's hands in no time is now $1 million. Those can be the Freeman of the future that are so happy about their good fortune that they want to go pay that forward, and they bring in 10 or 100 more like that. And so I view it as fundamental to our mission. In fact, that's why we put a star on the original Epic white paper in Sierra Leone. We planted 100 trees symbolically, just to say, if we can do at an atomic level P2P reforestation with cryptocurrency, then scale that out over years, and we really can create the type of world that we want to live in. So that's where it came from.
One last question for you, Max. You just said the word Freeman, and there's a lot of people in the chats named last name Freeman. Can you, for the uninitiated people who just don't understand, what is the meaning of Freeman to you and to Epic Cash?
So for me, there's a blog post about this from a couple of years ago. Maybe we can do an iterated version. We've got some good wordsmiths that are able to help and thinking a lot about this. But the way that I framed it at that time was, back in the 1800s, there was an Emancipation Proclamation. Abraham Lincoln said, "Slaves, you are now free." Well, if you just decide to use Epic as your money concept, then nobody needs to proclaim anything. You can do an Emancipation Declaration and say, yeah, people are going to come and want to stick their hand in my pocket for various reasons, but I'm getting wealthier over time. My money, goes further. Things get cheaper in Epic. Time is on my side, and things are great. And as I spread that mission, the math of networks, or Metcalfe's law, which is the other major reason to bring those people into the front end as users, rather than having a dedicated mining sector that then sells through brokers, wholesale dealers, and retail dealers. That's the supply chain of BTC, incidentally. It's just more efficient to let everybody be a producer as well as a user.
Mm-hmm. And how does that associate with Freeman? Sorry. So thank you for that. I had a minor surgical procedure earlier this morning, and the anesthetic isn't there, isn't fully out yet. So a Freeman is, in my mind, somebody who has declared that they want to emancipate themselves from the bondage of debt slavery, the Babylonian concept of, hey, here's your graduation. Now you're 140 grand in debt, and you may pay that off in 25 years, or you may not. You're in hoc to this house for 30 years. And now the rules of the game change when you're 57 on your 401k. Everybody's getting rug pulled all over. And so if you decide that you don't want to be a slave to that system, then you find your way to this money system. You become a Freeman, and that doesn't matter what your gender or physical plumbing is.
all of that is expressly outside. If you agree on 21 million and you agree on what you want in your money, then, whether you call yourselves that or not, then you are a Freeman and you're a part of the family. So that's how I personally look at it anyway.
I love that. Thank you. And on a final note, I'm going to put you on the spot here, just because there were a couple of us that were looking at, people talk about 1/1 millionth of an epic as a Freeman, where 1/1 millionth of an epic of a Bitcoin BTC is a SAT, and
100th million.
100th million. Wait.
It's 1/100 millionth. 1/100 millionth.
There's a lot of
places.
1/100 millionth. Thank you. But why would, so everybody understand BTC, that 1/100 millionth as a SAT. And so then they come in over to Epic and we refer to them as Freemans. Why not ESATs? So everybody would kind of understand that that's kind of what we're talking about. I know you have a good reason, but it just seems like
if people would like to call them ESATs, then wonderful. So I suggest the governance channel is the place where people care enough to decide how many angels can dance on the head of a pin.
Okay,
There's
that's
100 million of whatever we call them in one coin.
Okay, that is a wonderful answer. And again, that's a softball for you for the governance channel for ECR. Why you want to have ECR? Can you just share a little bit about what ECR is and how having can give you
ECR is the governance and equity token of our ecosystem. We're structuring it as akin to a membership type concept with ongoing benefits. And there's a lot of good stuff coming that if you're an ECR holder, you'll have access to and find quite valuable that you won't if you are not an ECR holder. So just as Binance has created $50 billion of value in their BNB token, we've studied that quite intensely and see a way to create a lot of value in the equity and governance, let's say primarily the governance feature here for today, create a lot of value in the people that participate in deciding what the settings should be, how much EUSD should be able to be minted. Starts out at 2 to 1. Is it safe to go to 1.9? Well, let's go take the temperature check of the community. Gov.epic.tech. You use your ECR to vote. Should we paint the walls in, the virtual office blue or red? That type of stuff. So really plugging into the hive mind in a transparent and scalable participatory way and creating incentives for that. There's really no limit to what we can attain with that type of structure.
So in other words, the more epic you hold prior to the snapshot, the more ECR you will have. And that just simply means a seat at the table of deciding where we're going to go, because this is all volunteer based. We're just one giant community. So that seat at the table becomes very important. So if you think that you don't count, you're wrong. You do, and you're appreciated.
And also, even if you don't want to participate, because it's unrealistic to expect that everyone will, after all, in the United States, only 25% of people bother to show up every 4 years to elect a president. And other DeFi protocols sometimes get low single-digit percentages. So, if you're a passive holder, that's fine. If you're an active holder, that's okay too. ECR is like Epic, the gift that keeps on giving as far as the new assets that are coming out. And so, no ICO, no pre-mine on all these new protocols on the subway map. Where do those go if there's no VCs and there's no, pre-mine and no ICO and no this? Well, it goes to us. And so to distribute all of the stuff that we're building in fair and innovative type of ways, especially to make it sustainable, that's what ECR is. So if you own ECR, you'll continue to get these other things, EON, EDX, all the other ones there. The one AT&T share turned into sorry, one AT&T share turned into what, 7 baby bells over time. If you had eBay stock, you got PayPal. You know, companies spin off their divisions all the time. Here, our equivalent is that that main branch of Epic gave birth to ECR, and that branch of ECR gives birth to these other things. And so, if you're in the boat, then you benefit from them. And as time goes on, we'll get much better at being able to execute many more snapshots and air grabs and shorten the time and make it easy for people to understand. This is a core part of our distribution model for how we get 7 billion of us into the boat ultimately. Go ahead, Yoga, sorry.
Yeah, no, to me, I mean, ECR in short is the landing pad for all the value from the ecosystem to land on. And to the holders of it, they'll be the people capturing that value, because the ecosystem will generate tremendous amount of value, and the ECR holders will benefit from that.
That's beautiful. So what you're telling me, help me if I'm understanding this, my ECR just isn't going to give me a seat at the table to vote, but you anticipate there will be a value associated with ECR. I think you can buy it now at like 30 cents or something out there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
And so is it fair for those who might be willing to play long ball, that if you hang on to your ECR, you might see that one baby, $5, $10, $100? Is that, I mean, is that
right? So the idea with ECR is, in addition to its, you know, intrinsic value, as like Epic has value, ECR will also have streams of revenue connected to it from generated by the network. So it's I don't want to use stock analogy because it's not precise, but but essentially it's it's a crypto that will have additional flow of value connected to it. So there'll be a massive incentive to hold it, and it'll generate profit for you without you having to sell it or borrow it against it or whatever. It'll actually just,
you can't borrow EUSD without ECR as an example.
Right.
So
and on top of that, it'll
unlock the value of your Epic.
Exactly. It'll enable other functionality within the Epic ecosystem.
And also buybacks, as our ecosystem generates fees on what's known as seniorage. The US government and the Federal Reserve make profits from the difference between the 3 cents that it costs to make a piece of currency or the 0 that it costs to create electronic currency, and then the value at which that's out accepted into the market. El Salvador, as an example, as a dollar-based nation, shares in that seniorage. Interestingly enough, there's a handful like that. And so here, ECR owners, if you're an equity owner, and especially if you're involved in governance, then it makes sense for you to profit as, in essence, a shareholder through the token, and as a manager through the participation in the executive and/or board structure. And then also, these other networks, the Eon smart contract capabilities, the buybacks from the cash flows. When we generate, when users pay fees, where do those go? One major bucket is to increasing the scarcity of ECR to buy back the tokens that are out there. And so as all those kick in, we know how to drive positive value. What I call, what Enrique was going through earlier this in the show, is number go up technology. It's baked into the DNA, just like a mushroom spore is designed to sprout overnight, fully formed into its final structure.
See, if you all ever see me looking down,
scribbling furiously,
it's like you create these little sound bites, and I'm a yellow sticky guy. This will end up on my mirror in my bathroom, to where I love just having these sound bites up there. So when I'm brushing my teeth or I'm shaving, I'm looking around and I have all these maxisms, and I figure at some point in time it'll all sink in. But I love that number go up technology. Thank you, Max.
Well, if you listen to me while shaving, I guess I can confide that I watch your YouTube videos while showering. So I guess we have that level of intimacy together.
Wow, things just got uncomfortably close.
Man, we can't end the show better than that, everyone. Thank you, Yoga, Enrique, Max. Thank you, everyone in the chat. And this has been a fun one. This has been one of my favorite Epic Cash lives. Just lots to be excited about, guys. And again, the snapshot is coming up on the 25th. And per my invitation, I want to let you know that I am going to go live on Christmas Day at noon Eastern time. And I'm going to drop a link to the Zoom chat or to the Zoom call in the chat. So if you want to come in, just hang out. You can show your face or just, leave your video off. Doesn't matter, but it'd be great to put some faces with names and some voices with names and just have some general camaraderie and celebrate the fact that it's Snapshot Day and that we're all here for the right reasons. And I think that's going to be fun. I think we're going to go for about 3 hours. So if you want to join me, I'd love to be able to have you, or you can go hang out with your families. Okay, I think it's going to be more fun in Uncle V land, but all right, everyone. I want to thank you again.